Hello, this is Rich Campy, CEO of Pro Advisor Coach, the Thinking Coach. And you know, I couldn't help it. I had to do one more bonus around MindScan, thinking about thinking. So in the last 10 sessions, we covered lots of stuff, the history, the background, all this. This one's really about what does this mean to you? Like what's in it for you around understanding thinking? And I thought it'd be valuable to dig a little bit deeper into that because for me, had I known this information earlier, it would have saved me thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars actually. And I'll give you one specific example. When I came back from getting certified with Tony Robbins in 1991, I thought I had it all figured out. I said, oh, I'm gonna start up this coaching firm and do all these things. And what I didn't know was what I didn't know. And I didn't understand my thinking at that time. I was massive action, go for it, make it happen. And so which dimension do you think I valued the most? Was it the relator, the doer, or the thinker? That's right, it was the doer. I was all about making it happen, go for it, massive action. If there's a will, there's a way. If you can't, you must. And so I rented, or actually I was able to raise $30,000 from friends and family and started up this coaching consulting business. I rented a resort outside of Chicago called Indian Lakes Resort in Bloomingdale. And we had speakers flying in and the whole event set up and rented the room and the ballroom and all this stuff. And we needed to sell 100 tickets to break even. And about a month before the event, my partner Tim said, hey, if you wanted to go parachuting, I was like, yeah, let's go. And he said, hold on. He said, imagine we're falling and we're having this great time. And he says, pull the chute. And you're like, no, this is great. And we keep falling and he slaps his hands together and he says, imagine that we don't pull our chute and we die. And I was like, what? What do you mean we die? He's like, we're at the place right now, we only have a month before the event and we've only sold 3 tickets and we need to sell 100 to break even. So I recommend we refund these 3 tickets, we lose all of our deposits that we had, and we just pull the plug on this thing. And I was freaking out. I couldn't believe it. I was like, my value was for things to be good, take action. But not having a plan, right, which is which value? The thinker part, right? So you can walk all day long in the wrong direction looking for a sunset. And if you're walking in the wrong direction looking for a sunset, you're never gonna see the sunset. And so massive action without having a plan is not very smart. And I've learned that over time, but I didn't understand it at that point. And so I didn't know what I didn't know. And at the same time, you need the right people around you. So what we found in the MindScan over time now is that frontline salespeople, so I went from that role after being really depressed and down and beating myself up and all that. My mom sort of helped me recover. She's like, you can brush your teeth today, you can take a shower, you smell. I mean, I was just like, pull the covers over my head. I've absolutely failed and messed everything up. And I did pay everyone back and was able to go into a sales role. Now, a hunter, right? So someone that drives sales, someone that pushes the envelope. When I got plugged into the wireless.com space, I was extremely successful. Why? Because I had people around me and I had a process and system around me, which was the organization that kept me in the bumper rails, that I could take massive action with my team, right, the people part, and the structure part there that really made it all work. And in fact, I hit the 10K in my first 5 years, which was the top 5 highest paid people in the organization. And I don't say any of that to impress you, I just say it to impress upon you that when you get all these dimensions working together as a team, it's so powerful. But a lot of times we don't understand that. So usually as a CEO, what we see is sort of an inverted V. We see the people part high, the practical much lower, and then the structured thinking higher. So we see these 2 circles higher and we see the practical much lower as a CEO or a president, where it's almost completely inverted for a frontline salesperson, where we see a really strong hunter that's massive action. You just want someone motivated that's just go, and the organization keeps them in check, right, in the bumper rail. So when you look at this from example, someone that has a high empathy and maybe a low practical or a low structured, what we see then when we're working with, you know, partners, clients, and we've experienced this ourselves, is that that type of person values people so much. I'll never forget Carolyn, working with her back 5-6 years ago, and her empathy was at a positive 10, and her practical was like at a -8, and her structure was like at a -2. And I said, you know, Caroline, she was stressed out. She was just totally stressed out. Her internal world was all the way to the bottom. And I said, you know, until we start segmenting your book, until we put a plan or a process in place so that, you know, it's really going to be difficult for you to take your business past this ceiling of complexity, because you're bouncing against this cap, because you're just flat out running out of time. You cannot possibly see 1,000 people the way you want to see them. And it didn't matter. She just loved everybody. Love, 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 love. Yes, 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 all the time. And so what really changed that for her is when we asked this question. This is what's so powerful about the mind scan, and once you understand it, is that we said, who are you letting down by not segmenting your book, or by not focusing on those most ideal clients? See, we can effectively get from, you know, Chicago to North Carolina in many ways, and some may fly first class, some may fly coach, but everyone may arrive, or should arrive safely, right? Whether it's bus or train, whatever, there's lots of modes to get there, but everyone can arrive safely. So same thing with clients, is that we want to deliver an amazing experience, but some may fly in first class, some are in coach, some are taking a bus, a train, whatever. And so the point is that, how do we deliver this amazing service solution to everyone that we work with? But there are going to be some different levels of what's there. And so that was the point with Carolyn, is once we got that, and we got really set up for her to focus on our top 40 most ideal clients, we still gave amazing service to the other 960, right? But those 40, they were flying like private jet, amazing service. So we really gave them the white glove, VIP, incredible service. And then what happened through setting up these relational currency grids, which is part of the structured thinking, she was able to duplicate those 40 into 80 and doubled her business and spent half the amount of time. So she went from working 60, 70 hours a week to 20 to 30 hours a week, making double the amount of money within 1 year. And the way we're able to do that is put some junior partners in place that really helped to support the other clients that were out there, so they got amazing service. And she really focused on those top 40, and then we duplicated them effectively through a favorable introduction process. So that's how the mind scan works in that dimension, where you can see that real and you saw the practical. And then let's look at the other one. A lot of you know, business owners, or especially financial advisors or CPAs or attorneys, right? They're really good at the structured thinking, right? They get the process, the system, the should be's. But if we spend so much time on it should be this, it should be that, it should be this, then we can should all over ourselves. And I know it's kind of a crazy, sick joke in kind of a weird way, but the reality is that we could want to make everything so perfect that we never take action, or we never spend time with the people. So what we do in that situation is we go through the place we value the most, like the should be's in this case, putting a process in place that then drives relational currency over here in the relator part, right? So you see, you work through this bias to raise the other one up. Or we could also work through the structured systemic part to raise up the extrinsic or the doer area. So all we need is a process in place, because someone that values that particular dimension of it should be this way, structured thinking, they value process and systems, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, A, B, C, D, they want to follow something. So if we're bringing someone into our organization, it's really, really important that we have that process and system set up for them, especially in the first 90 days, so that they have the right process they can follow and understand that. And then the internal world, and what that means for us and for you, is that when your circles in the internal world, the size of those circles matches the circles on top. So if I have a very good on the bottom and a very good on top, that means I'm self-actualizing, like I'm stepping into maximizing my potential. So the circles on the bottom and the circles on top should be the same size. Now, very rarely, about 5% of the time, we see the circles on the bottom larger than the circles on top, and that's called inner directed. And that means that you're understanding yourself more than you understand the world outside, which is very unique. But we do see that with like a Mozart, a Da Vinci, really famous, people now that were not famous back then. They have the ability to keep going and going and going, even though it's very difficult. They don't listen to the signs externally, it's all internally. And if you want a copy of that article, just send a message to info@proadvisorcoach.com. Subject line, put in inner directed, and we'll get that over to you. But here's what can change and here's what can't. So think about an equalizer or stereo, right? It can bounce up and down. You got bass and treble and vocals, and they're all bouncing up and down. That's what creates the amazing song. So same thing is true in our thinking. We want all these parts to be moving, but moving very intentionally, right? Not at a place of not knowing what we don't know, right? You maybe have heard of this unconscious incompetence, right? I don't know what I don't know. And we want to go to a place of unconscious competence where it's almost just natural that you're adjusting these automatically because you have a sense around relator, doer, thinker, and how it works in both worlds with the clarity and the biases. And so internally, that's where you have the opportunity to grow. You can move the biases both internally and externally up and down, and you can adjust the size of the circles internally as you self-actualize and create more awareness. The size of the circles externally does not change that much over time, although they can change. It's typically what you have is what you have. So my skin color, my hair color now is kind of gray, right? But that's kind of what it is. Like what it is what it is. My eye colors are my eye color. And same thing true in those external worlds. They don't change that much over time. So hopefully that helps a little bit more as a bonus to say what's in this for you. And I really do encourage you to get MindScan certified. I think it's just a brilliant tool if you're going to use it for yourself or with others, or building up your coaching business or your law firm or your financial services business. It's a great way to really understand yourself and others around formal axiology. This is Coach Rich Campy, the Thinking Coach, saying thank you so much for this whole series on MindScan, your time, your energy. I don't take it lightly, and I look forward to seeing you again next time.